What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight, alright, we're coming back to Hanoi Rocks. Yes, indeed, Hanoi Rocks fans, feeling you. Come on now. Here we go. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to doing all of the clicks and the likes and the bibbity-bobbity bot, do me a favor, before you do all that stuff, please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, if you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from Brett Beyer, and Brett wanted to see me react to this song by Hanoi Rocks called Underwater World. Now, have I heard this song before? No, I have not. To the best of my knowledge, this does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always a possibility I may have heard the song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, wait a second, I've heard this song before, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Okay, we did have a little bit of a problem with this video. The original link that Brett provided me with, I went to download and it wasn't downloading. So I went and I did some investigating. Turns out the video is unavailable. And that is literally all it says. Video unavailable. Doesn't say anything about being taken down. Doesn't say anything about the channel being terminated. I mean, the channel's still there. It doesn't say anything about anything other than video unavailable. I tried switching VPNs around. I tried switching countries. I tried 7 different countries. Nothing. So couldn't use the video that Brett wanted me to use, unfortunately. So I had to kind of go out on a limb and I had to kind of look for another video. So I did a search for Hanoi Rocks Underwater World, and this is the first link that popped up. So I said, let's just grab that one and let's make this happen. So this video, the video I had to pick, was originally posted by Kojuti. Yes, K-O-J-O-O-O-T-T-I. Take that for whatever it's worth. And the video has 86,000 views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Hanoi Rocks Underwater World HQ. Live 1985 at Helsingin Kulturitalo. Sure, why not? All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
It's really soft. 900. before I forget. Okay. The songwriting, not bad. It's not bad. It's straight ahead. It's very easy to follow. There's nothing, I would say, impressive about it, but it's doing the job. It's absolutely doing the job. It sounds good. It's got a nice pace. The chord progression makes perfect sense. The instrumentation's nice. The addition of the saxophone, it's kind of giving me vibes. And I do not remember the name of the artist. But those of you, I think, already know where I'm going with this. I'm sure there's quite a few people going, I know what he's going to say. I know the movie he's going to reference. Yeah, you do. I'm sure everybody does. In The Lost Boys, you know the scene I'm talking about on the beach with the fire pit and the band playing, right? Kind of gives me vibes of that a little bit. Not to the extent of flamboyance. I mean, they're flamboyant in other ways. Much more relaxed feel from that, but it still has a lot of the same elements: the guitar, the bass, the drums, the saxophone taking the lead at times, vocally very. It's funny that the song has such a laid back feel, yet the vocals are being done in a pretty aggressive style. Like, he's not laying back with his vocals at all. He is right on top, kind of in an aggressive stance. But here's the thing: it works. It's working. Usually that would clash pretty badly, but in this case, there's no clash. It's working really well. As far as the live performance goes, it's not really hurting, but it's not really helping either. It's not really doing anything for me, but at the same time, it's not turning me off either. I'm cool with what they're doing. I wish there were other things they would be doing as well. So anyway, let's get back into this. Let's see where this goes. I'm fine with it. Like, I don't have any problem with it. But if I were to sit here and say that I enjoyed it and I loved it, that would be a lie. And you all would see right through it. Huh. Interesting. Okay, well. I'm going to be honest with you, folks. I thought I had a score in my head. But that score has changed twice. So, and the score I have in my head right now, this very second, I'm not even sure if I like that score. Something tells me I don't. So let me get my thoughts together. I'll see you in the review, and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Hanoi Rocks with a live performance of Underwater World. This was a request from Brett Beyer. Okay, honestly, there's really not a whole lot to talk about. This song, it's very straight ahead. A couple of things to talk about, though. Not a lot, but there's a couple. So let's get to it, shall we? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that a 6.8. Yep, 6.8. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay, first things first, a 6.8. What does that mean? Well, a 6.8 would translate to a pretty good skill rating because overall, I think this was a pretty good song. It would actually get 3 out of 5 stars and a B letter grade. Yeah, B as in boy. Let that one sink in. So there you go, a 6.8, pretty good skill rating, 3 out of 5 stars, and a B letter grade. Now, how did I come up with that score? Well, kind of an interesting story. So glad you asked. This is actually the 6th score that I came up with for this. I kept going in between all of these different scores. And the funny thing is, I never hit the same score twice. They were all different scores. Some of them were a little lower, some of them were a little higher. This is the one I decided on, and I have my reasons, okay? The song, if we're being honest here, is there anything really all that impressive about the songwriting? Not really. The chord progression is pretty simple, very easy to follow. It's effective, though, and like I've always said on the channel, simple can be effective when it's done properly. But this was done pretty properly. It got the job done. It flowed well. It sounded good. Everything made sense. There were no surprises. Okay, there was nothing that sat there and made me go, what in the world were they thinking? So that's always a plus. The melodic lines being covered by the guitar and by the synthesizer. Well, no, the synthesizer was more being utilized for chords than it was for main melodic line. The main melodic lines were being covered by guitar and by saxophone and vocals. So that was fine. But everything lined up, everything made sense. Drumming, very solid, straight ahead. Again, nothing frilly, nothing fancy, nothing that blew my skirt up, but at the same time, can't complain because it kept everything solid across the board. So that seems to be the big word here, is solid. Everything about this was solid. There was nothing about this that sounded bad. There was nothing about this that made me cringe. So I got really no issues with the song whatsoever. I'm just not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm blown away by anything when I'm really not. The live show. This is where things get interesting. The first couple of minutes watching the live show, I was kind of like, It just kind of looks like they're going through the motions. You know, it's just like, minimum effort. I mean, were they doing things right? I mean, yeah, they were moving around the stage. Yes, they were picking up their feet and they were walking, kind of casually strolling from point A and going in a roundabout way, taking a loop, and then ending up over here at point B. Almost as if they were in a drunken stupor, but they weren't. And they very clearly weren't because they were able to play their instruments really well. But definitely not walking with any type of, how should I put this? Not direction. They walked that They knew which direction they wanted to walk. Purpose, I guess, is the best way to put it. Intent. That's the word I'm looking for. Not moving with any type of intent. Everything they did was very, when it came to movement and motion on stage, everything was very laxadative, except the lead vocalist. When he would move, he moved with very clear intent, very clear purpose. So you have him moving with intensity, with speed, and with intent, and everybody else in the back is just kind of like, whatever, man. Get there when we get there. What a weird contrast. Here's the thing, though, and this is why I'm going to kind of give them the benefit of the doubt on this. I think that's intentional. I think that's who they are. I think that's the band's identity. The front man is a fireball. He is Mr. Intensity within the not the most intense guy I've ever seen, but within the confines of this band, he is the most intense guy. Why? Because he is the front man. He should be the most intense guy. I have said this time and time again when we're talking about watching live shows. If anybody in the band should be moving with intensity and with purpose and with passion and with intent, with power, with some aspect of speed, it should be the lead. It should be the front man. Absolutely. Everybody else should try to follow suit, but as long as the front man's doing his job, everybody else is going to be probably pretty cool. And I think these guys might actually embody that theory. I was thinking about when I did the first pause, I was like, should I come down on these guys already for their lack of effort? I mean, like I said, they're moving around, but there's no intensity, there's no intent other than the lead vocalist. I wonder, and that's when the wheels started to turn. And the more I watched the second half, I started to see two things. One, that was, okay, the lead vocalist maintained. He absolutely maintained what he was doing. But everybody else in the band started ever so slightly to turn things up just a little bit. I started to see the guitar players moving with a little more effort, a little more speed, a little more intensity, a little more intent. Same thing with the bassist. I started to see him doing the same thing too. And I was like, okay, but they're not matching him. They're turning it up a little bit, yes, but they're still, like before it was this. Here's everybody else, here's the lead vocalist when it comes to intent, effort, and energy, right? Well, about halfway through the song, this went up to about here. It was just enough to be noticeable, but still not even coming close. It wasn't even this. It went from here to here, okay? It did not go from here to here. So they're still creating a clear difference between themselves and the lead vocalist, and the lead vocalists have the lead. I don't know for certain. I have no evidence to back this up. This is all theory. Okay, so I'm hypothesizing here. But something tells me, and like I said, this is pure speculation. Something tells me everything they did on stage was intentional. So that's interesting. The other thing I saw that was really interesting was the usage of the synthesizer by, I believe, 3 different people. I saw the lead vocalist do it. I believe I saw both guitar players come over and use the keyboards at times. It was funny because it was a trade-off. The lead vocalist started using the synthesizer, and as he walked away to go to the microphone, one of the other guitar players immediately came over to the synthesizer and took over. Clearly, it was planned, obviously, but it's really interesting to see how, people are able to take over for each other's jobs when needed. I thought that was really well done, really well organized. And the fact that they were not using track, everything you heard was organically played. That was also worked in their favor. So I took all of these things into account when it came to their live show. let's go down the checklist and let's see if they checked off all the boxes. Let's see if they did. Stage presence. Yep, check. They had it. Absolutely. Stage energy. I'm going to give them a check, and I'm basing that check. Now, it's not a weak check either. It's a full check. I'm basing it off the theory, off the speculation, the hypothesization that everything they did was on purpose. It wasn't because they're lazy. It's because they are trying not to outshine the lead vocalist, which takes a lot of constraint, and I don't necessarily agree with it, but I mean, they made it look legit, so good for them. Stage interaction, it was very subtle, but yeah, that gets a check. There was a number of times members of the band interacted with each other in very subtle ways. It's not like they got together and, did any blocking or anything like that. There was no choreography or anything like that, and they didn't go back to back and like that, but there was the, exchange of glances, the nod to each other, getting close to each other and interacting in small, slight ways. So, yeah, give it to them. I saw a number of times members of the band even go over and interact with the drummer, which was nice to see. A lot of times the drummer's ignored. So, that gets a check. Crowd interaction. Okay. This might be a bit of a stretch, but I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes to crowd interaction. There was a number of times where the lead vocalist did reach out to the crowd. Now, whether that's for theatrics or whether it was because he genuinely was trying to interact with the crowd, I can't tell. I don't know enough about this band to be able to make that type of a judgment. But from basing it on what I saw arms go outstretched out to the audience, a number of times, like he was reaching out to them. So I'm gonna give it the check for now. Let's see if that kind of activity exists in other shows later on down the line. But for now, he gets a check. Showmanship, yeah, check. I mean, it seems like they have this formula. It seems like they have these personas, and they're following it, and that goes along the lines of showmanship. So I'm going to give it the check. Again, it's kind of based on the hypothesis and the assumption that they're following this formula that they've created for themselves. So I'm going to give it the check for now. Production? No. Well, I mean, actually, yeah, there was. Now that I think about it, there was a lot of cryo at the beginning. So much so that the one guitar player got buried in it. He got completely engulfed in cryo. I bet that felt really good to breathe into your lungs, boy. I bet it did. But hey, listen, you do what you gotta do. No, and this is how I came up with that 6.8. I did take the live show into account. It did help the score a little, but there's a lot of unanswered questions when it comes to this. And I know people in the comments are going to try to fill in the blanks. They're going to say, oh, yes, that's what they've been known for, and that's what they did. And okay, here's the thing. It sounds nice in theory. It does. Do we have any concrete evidence? Do we have any irrefutable concrete evidence to back up that theory? That I don't know. Now look, if members of the band, if members of Hanoi Rocks suddenly out of nowhere contact me and say, yeah, that was our gimmick. That's what we did. That was our shtick. Then at that point, the great questions of the universe have been answered. But until that point, it's really going to be speculation that we're going to have to keep our eyes open and watch other shows and see, is it consistent? Or other shows more impressive and more attention to detail and more energy and more effort, at which point I'm going to look back at this show and go, what was wrong with this show then? Why didn't we have it? So I don't know. Time will tell. Time will tell on this one. But for right now, 6.8, I feel good with that score, and that's where we're going to stay. So let's wrap everything up here in a nice shiny bow, shall we? We have a 6.8, which is a pretty good skill rating, 3 out of 5 stars, and a B letter grade. Yeah, that's B as in boy. Take your pick. I don't care. Whichever one of those floats your boat. Final word, final score. I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hope that was all to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, then I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, well, then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for tonight, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.